Hey everyone, welcome to the 2023 update video. Even though we're most of the way through 2023, I want to take a moment to reflect on the year, as well as discuss my plans and thinking moving forward. I will also be doing a Q&A portion at the end, so please stick around for that, since there are some really interesting questions, and who knows, you might have yours read out. Before that though, let's get some general housekeeping out of the way. Please drop a like on this video, and consider subscribing, since these are what YouTube uses to decide whether to boost my channel and videos. Also, if you really want to help out my channels, consider becoming a patron, since with ad revenue as bad as it is, Patreon is the main thing keeping the lights on for the channels. Additionally, be sure to keep an eye on the community tab, which can be found in my channel page, and join the Discord if you haven't already, since these are the best ways to keep up to date with what's happening day to day and week to week. It's there I post polls on new videos, as well as updates and even sneak peek thumbnails. But with that out of the way, let's get on to the good and the bad regarding the current state of the channels. Starting off with the good, this year we've been able to crack 5,000 subs on the main channel, and even surpass that, currently being at over 6,000 at the time of recording, while also surpassing 800,000 views. Additionally, we've gotten over 2k subs on the second channel, with 180,000 views, both of which were milestones I wanted to achieve this year, and for that I want to say thank you. I truly do love being able to create weekly content for you all, and be able to spend my time talking about Pokemon and Dragon Ball, Naruto and Ben 10, and a whole bunch of other pop culture topics I love. This stuff really is my passion, and your support makes it all possible, so thank you. Additionally, we've been able to finish up some stories, like What If Goku was Guardian of Earth, What If Ash woke up on time, and What If Ash was a Frontier Brain, along with Season 1 of What If Jiraiya adopted the Rain Trio. We've also gotten a few stories that are close to completion, such as What If Red trained Ash, What If Serena started in Kanto, What If Ash was Brandon's son, What If Pan was born in the future timeline, and my collab with Plus, What If Cynthia raised Ash. Furthermore, we've also been able to branch out a bit, making better use of shorts to explore micro what ifs, as well as trying our hand at a couple of mini-series, and exploring a bunch of fun new series for what ifs, such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, Ben 10, Harry Potter, My Hero Academia, and One Piece, with several others to come, though we'll save that for later. Unfortunately, one thing we can't save for later is the bad, as while there is a lot of stuff I'm proud of with both channels, there's also some things I'm quite concerned about that I'd like to bring to your attention. Starting off with the big one, there's the issue of views. Simply put, this has not been a good year for views compared to 2022, especially on the main channel. Part of the reason for that is just luck, and the fact that my content is fairly niche, as not everyone who gets recommended it will want to spend hours listening to some random Australian tell a story about Pokemon events that might have been. However, part of it is also because of a decision I made at the start of the year to focus on trying to finish up my ongoing stories rather than start new ones. While in theory this was a good idea, as it would lead to more full stories, which is the lifeblood of a successful What If channel, at least in terms of ad revenue, watch time, and other such things, it came at a cost. That being that the YouTube algorithm simply is not designed for ongoing long narratives, since unlike a part 1 or standalone video, new viewers are less inclined to click on a later part, which convinces the algorithm it is an undesirable video, thus hurting its reach and the amount of people it is recommended to. Additionally, as is always the way with an ongoing story, there is a degree of viewer drop-off between parts, where a portion of the audience who watched the last part won't watch the next one, making the overall number of views lower with each successive installment. While this is to be expected, there reaches a certain point where this drop-off becomes worrying, with a general rule of thumb being that when a video gets less than 50% of the last part's views, then there is cause for concern, and unfortunately during this time, this was consistently happening across all my series on the main channel. These two issues combined create a string of underperforming videos, which hurt the channel's growth, with it getting so bad that the cost of making the videos started exceeding any earning from them. This left me with a rather difficult decision: either keep doing what I was doing, and hope the full stories could bolster the channel eventually, or try something else, in the hope of restarting the positive growth trajectory of 2022. As those of you who've been around since before June will know, I chose the second option, which is why all my older series were put on hiatus, though this doesn't mean I'm abandoning them, as even now, I'm working on ways to try and bring them back without returning to the dire situation we were in for the first half of the year, but I'll talk about that in a bit, as first I want to discuss the second channel, which is currently going through a similar problem. Before I begin speaking about it, it's probably worth covering what the second channel is, and why it exists, since some of you may not have heard of it or seen it. It is my Variety Hour channel, where I do what ifs on everything not Pokemon, since when I started it, I already had an established fanbase primarily around Pokemon, and so I wanted to keep a clear delineation of my content. Rather than wasting time rehashing some of the points I've already made about the nature of the algorithm, I'll just show you the views on my last 8 videos of the second channel. Not one of them has cracked 2,000 views, with only 2 making it over 1,000, which is pretty grim considering all the time, effort, and money I put into producing them. Thankfully, having had the experience I did with the main channel, I'm not going to let this drag on for 6 months, and instead I'm going to take take some proactive steps, though as it stands, there are a few ways I can think of to remedy this problem, which leads us pretty perfectly into the moving forward section of this video. Let's start by talking about ways to fix the views problem on the second channel. Currently, I see three. The first is to put more focus into the second channel, which would mean cutting back a bit on the main channel and trusting the forward momentum it's been making these last few months to carry it while I sort out the second channel. The second option is to reduce the length of videos in an attempt to upload more frequently, as this would likely be a model the algorithm would favour. The major benefit of this would be a greater number of uploads per week, so maybe 3 or 4 videos a week versus the current 2 across both channels, though at the cost the videos would likely be cut down to 8 to 12 minutes. The final option, and the most drastic, is one that those of you who follow the community tab will have heard of, the idea of merging the channels. What this would mean is that moving forward, I would upload all my videos on the main channel, while the second channel would serve as something of an archive for the early parts, since I would keep them all there rather than re-uploading everything. In practice, not much would really change, with there being one Pokemon upload and one Variety Hour upload every week, though instead of being on separate channels, they'd be on one, making it all the more important to be subscribed to the main channel. However, in the interest of transparency, I will admit that this third option comes with something of a risk, as if these Variety Hour videos continue to underperform on the main channel, their poor performance could hurt the Pokemon uploads, bringing us back to where we were earlier in the year. So please, if I do go down this route, I implore you to at least give my non-Pokemon stuff a chance. With that said, I would love to hear your thoughts on these options, as well as any other suggestions you may have regarding how to fix this ongoing problem. Though, before I scare you all off, let's get back to the fun part of what lies ahead. Starting off with the main channel, I want to loop back to what I was saying earlier about bringing back some of our older series. After the success of What If Red Trained Ash Season 2, I am currently working on devising a rotation which should allow more parts of those older stories to come back, while also interspersing them with new stuff and mini-series to hopefully satisfy both old and new fans of the channel, while keeping the algorithm happy. Whether this comes in the form of a rotation of consecutive uploads, like we saw with the mini-series, or else selecting a group of stories and doing a new part bi-weekly or perhaps monthly is yet to be seen, though I hope you'll bear with me as I figure it all out. Regarding the second channel, my plans for it will largely be dictated by how I end up solving the problems I listed earlier, though I will say this, regardless of how that turns out, my next big goal for it is to expand the scope of what if topics even more, with some of the ones I am currently working on including Bleach, Marvel and DC, Kingdom Hearts, Persona and Sonic the Hedgehog. So if these sound like things that interest you, please do drop your suggestions in the comments and give the videos a watch when they start coming out. And that about wraps up what I want to say in regards to the update. But before I go, there is one more thing left to do. Earlier today I put a call out in the community tab and the Discord for viewer questions, and so to close us out, I'm going to do my best to answer them. Before I start, I want to thank everyone who wrote in. To keep things simple, I'm going to consolidate a few of these questions that have been asked a few times, or that there are variations on the same theme, since that way, you don't have to waste your time hearing me answer what is more or less the same question. Also, if I don't get to your question, I apologize, since I want to keep this short and sweet as a fun way to round out the video. But with that said, let's get into the questions. Our first question is, how long does your creative process take? / how long does it take to make a video? In general, my 15 to 20 minute videos take about 10 hours to make, as they require planning, writing, editing, recording, audio editing, thumbnail design, compilation, soundtracking, and rendering. As for longer videos, they understandably tend to take longer, with a 30 to 40 minute video taking roughly 15 to 20 hours, since they require more of every step. Our next question is, how do you choose one story idea over another? / how do you come up with such unique what if stories? Personally, when choosing a what if topic, I either try to look for stuff that could have happened in canon if one thing had been different, such as what if Luffy had a different crew, or Jiraiya adopted the Rain Trio, or else choose stories that allow me to explore interesting character dynamics and themes, like what if Cynthia raised Ash, Ash and Paul as twins, and Red trained Ash. Either way though, it needs a meaningful change that makes the story worth telling, since in my experience, just doing canon over again, or canon but protagonist is stronger makes for bad what ifs. What is your favorite Pokemon? For me, that's gotta be Togepi. Love him in the anime, think he's adorable, and would be very happy to have one to cuddle. However, Mudkip is a close second, as Emerald was my first game, and Mudkip is my favorite of those starters. Any software you recommend for making what if videos? I tend to use Google Docs for scripting, Audacity for recording, Paint 3D to do overlays, thumbnails, and other visuals, and Power Director to make the actual video. Will you do more collabs? Absolutely. I have several lined up, both with people I've worked with and people I haven't but want to. Will you do crossovers? One of those collabs is a crossover, so definitely yes. Though whether I'll do a solo crossover is yet to be seen. How do you decide which mons to give Ash and a what if? Do you base it on game/anime location, best team you can come up with, or just go with the flow? Great question. I generally try to base Ash's teams on themes, which are often central to the story. For example, in What If Ash Woke Up on Time, his team are early game Pokemon like starters and regional birds to create the impression of a rookie team, the one who can achieve greatness through hard work. While in contrast, Gary's was meant to reflect his genius, through mons who can achieve power through very little work. I find that this style of planning also makes the story easier to write, as it lets me plan encounters in advance, as well as know how long I have to cover each Pokemon's arc. How are you doing? I'm good. Even with some of the worries I mentioned earlier, I am still doing what I love, telling stories about topics that I adore. So as long as I'm doing that, I'm happy. Thanks for asking. And finally, the most frequently asked question, what is your favorite what if that you've done or are currently doing? Truthfully, it's whatever story I'm working on at any given moment, since I love them all. Though if I had to pick a few standouts, I'd say my collabs with Plus and Dex, Red Train Dash, and Gets Raised Dash on the main channel, while for the second channel, I love Guardian Goku as the story that really started the channel, Jiraiya and the Rain Trio, Kevin Turned Good Early, Seto and Yugi, and Luffy with a different crew. Though, with that said, I love all my stories. But that should do it for this update video. Thank you all for watching. I look forward to bringing you more content for the rest of 2023 and into 2024.